Welcome back, everybody. Tonight I'm going to be talking about a few of my experiences. These were some of my grandmother's favorite experiences. My grandmother was, well, her and my grandfather both were my rock in life, and especially my grandmother when it came to the paranormal. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. When I was 19 and was working early mornings, and I had just started working at the place, I had the day off and was actually able to sleep in. However, some kind of entity that was with me thought I needed to wake up for work. I was woken by a voice saying, "Hey." And at the time, I thought it was my girlfriend wanting to curl up in bed and cuddle with me or something, so I basically said, just please let me sleep. I need to sleep in a little bit. And again, I heard a voice say, "Hey." I started getting upset, and again, I said, "Please, I want to sleep. It's early. I get to sleep in today." But whatever entity it was got upset by this. And I was awoken by the bed being jostled up and down at my feet. I mean, it was literally somebody had come down, pressed their hands at the end of the bed, and started pushing and shaking and jostling the bed up and down as hard and as fast as they could. Scared the crap out of me. Absolutely scared the crap out of me. I woke up and I shot up out of bed and I said, "Knock it off." And when I finally came to a little bit, it was nothing but darkness. All I couldn't see anything. I couldn't even see the hand in front of my face. There's no lights on except for the alarm clock that was on. And once I realized what had happened and whatnot, that my girlfriend wasn't there, wasn't trying to jump in bed with me, I, I quickly looked at the clock and saw that it was, the normal time that I usually woke up for work to go into work. And I was so startled and freaked out that I staggered up out of bed, ran up the stairs, and I tried to climb in bed with my grandmother. That's how much it freaked me out. I tried to actually climb in bed with my grandmother. I was 19 at the time. Can you imagine? She her reaction was, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you jumping in bed with me? Get the hell out of my bed." So I ended up sleeping on the couch in the living room. And after we both woke up, I was able to tell her what had happened and her, be able to comprehend what had happened. She was like, "Oh, well, now I can understand why you did that." And of course, my grandmother's reaction was mostly fascination. She was used to stuff like that happening around me. And my grandmother, being the rock that she was for me, just just found it so fascinating and was like, you know what, I probably would have done the same thing if it were me. But what's really crazy is ever since then, I've had dreams paranormally in the basement where people have come to me in dreams, especially my grandparents. After they both passed away, they both came to me and we were in their basement. And what's even crazier is that she and my grandfather never had experiences in that basement, but ever since then, still to this day, I have visitation dreams in that basement. I've thought about using those dreams as a way to channel to open myself back up. And it's just been recently that I've decided to do that. I don't know why I haven't used it in the past. I really took a break out of the paranormal because of a couple of negative experiences, but I've really started to open back up and meditate more and use that as a channel to communicate. And for those of you that don't know what channeling is, it's an act or practice of serving as a medium through which spirits can communicate with living persons. That's an exercise that anybody can do. You just have to be open-minded, relax, and just, there's exercises that you can do to help channel. But on to the next one. These were another favorites of my grandmother. These actually happened right around the same time. Again, I was 19, and this time I was living on my own, and I was living in an apartment. And after work, I would come home, settle in, and I would always hear this whistle. I would hear it every day, sometimes a couple times. I'd be watching TV and I would hear this whistle, and I can repeat this whistle to you because I heard it so many times. Just like that. Just like that. Every day. A couple times a day. I'd hear it in my living room. I'd hear it in the bathroom. I'd hear it in my bedroom. It never felt negative. It was just some entity trying to communicate and let me know that they were there. That whistle doesn't really haunt me, but it kind of does at the same time. I'll never forget it. And after some time of living in this apartment and hearing these whistles, other things started to happen. Like, I would have coins being thrown at me. I'd be walking through the kitchen into the living room, and then I'd feel a thump on my back. And I'd look down, and there's a coin. It happened once or twice. Whoever this entity was must have really been obsessed with money. Because one day I went to go write a check. I can't remember, it must have been for rent or something. And I couldn't find my checkbook. I couldn't find it for days, and I searched and I searched, and I usually kept it all together at the end of a nightstand. And then one day, I woke up for work, and I stood up and I felt a thump at my feet. And I looked down, and there was my checkbook. Out of nowhere. And it just came out of thin air. I mean, I typically kept all my financial stuff, my important stuff, my car keys and everything together in one place. And like I said, I searched for days, and then just one day I woke up and felt a thump at my feet. And there it was. I don't know what it was about that apartment that I lived in. I never felt anything negative. Didn't really feel anything positive. But whatever entity it was, looking back on it now, I was 19, living on my own. I had a baby on the way. 19. I was alone. Sure, I had a lot of help, but I was alone. So looking back on it, especially since I didn't feel anything negative from it, I think all that entity wanted me to know was that I wasn't alone. That I wasn't alone. And it probably realized that I just needed a friend. Because like I said, I was going through a lot. I was 19, living on my own, and I had a baby on the way. So this one kind of affects me today because I didn't think about all this until recently. And it's one of those experiences that I wish I could go back to that apartment and say, thank you. Thank you for letting me know that I wasn't alone and everything would be okay. So it's one of those experiences that at the time didn't really seem significant, but years later, looking back on it, like I said, it means more now than it did then. So, and like I said, it must have been pretty obsessed with money, throwing coins at me and stealing my checkbook, and then, oh, here, you can have your checkbook so you can pay your rent. But anyway, that's one of my grandmother's favorites. Um, my grandmother, like I said, was my rock in life, my paranormal rock. Her and my grandfather both, but especially my grandmother. You know, I could go to her and talk to her about anything. I could go to her and talk to her about my paranormal experiences. And I mean, she had her own wit and wisdom. She had her own wit and wisdom. She had her own spiritual journey that she went through. I'll go over more of that later. I actually write extensively about my grandmother in the book I'm writing. But um, one of the things about my grandmother and my paranormal experiences and my clairvoyancy is when she went in for surgery, I didn't see her death coming. Normally, I can read people like a book. I could just go up to people and say, oh, wow, you've got cancer, or oh, wow, you're going to die of cancer, or some other kind of thing like that. But when it came to my grandmother, my gift didn't kick in. My clairvoyancy didn't kick in. And the night before her surgery, she had femoral artery surgery. I told her, you know, not to worry, that I didn't feel anything bad about it, that she would be fine. And then she ended up coding on the table and dying. So that one still kind of gets me. You know, I have this gift of clairvoyancy, and then stuff like that happens, and it's like, well, why didn't you prepare me for it? Again, I write extensively about that in my book, and I'll probably go into a little bit more in other vlog entries. But anyway, a little bit more about my grandmother. Around the time of her death, I was actually sitting down with her friends and other family members to give them readings. I subsequently have stopped giving psychic readings. Like I said, I've had a few paranormal experiences that really were negative, that affected me. And, well, I was, I know this is probably going to sound really weird, but when I would sit down and give people readings, I was so incredibly accurate that it felt invasive. It felt like I was reading their minds. And it freaked me out to no avail. Stuff that I shouldn't know. You know, there's the, oh yeah, I know your grandfather's name. One time I sat down with one of her friends and I was like, oh, your father Herbert. And she's like, how did you know that? How did, and that same reading, I was like, oh, your daughter's pregnant. And she found out 2 days later that her daughter was pregnant. It's stuff like that that is awesome and interesting and fascinating. But it freaks the hell out of me. You know, and then on top of that, after a couple of negative experiences, I stopped giving readings. But it's something that I'm going to start picking back up with and opening back up to. I just got to be a little bit more comfortable with myself doing it. One of the other things about like giving psychic readings, I found when I was doing psychic readings for people, that a lot of times spirits would just jump in and say, "Oh wow, you can communicate with me. This person can communicate with me," and it would really hinder. Uh, it would really hinder what I was trying to do for the person in front of me. So it's again something that I have to learn to better control, because some spirits, let me tell you guys, some spirits, they are extremely adamant that when they can communicate with somebody, they're going to bump who is ever there out of the way and say, "Talk to me." I was shocked and surprised about how some spirits can be adamant about it. And, well, that kind of freaked me out in myself. That freaked me out just in itself, because it's like, well, how do you control that? And it's something that, again, I'm working on to eventually go back to giving people readings. It's just I gotta open myself back up to it. Got to open myself back up to it and prepare better and learn how to better control. Hey, oh hey, you don't jump in. I'm trying to help somebody, type of thing. Um, but that's again something that I'm working on. But again, I know if my grandmother were alive today, she would be extremely proud of me for opening back up to the paranormal and trying to get more involved in reaching out more to the paranormal community and reaching out more to people to try to help people. Back in my 20s, I really got into it. Really got into it and was helping people, at least my close friends and family. But she would be extremely proud of me today for opening myself back up to help people again. Sorry. When you lose your paranormal rock in life, or your rock in general, it takes a huge effect on you. So, I mean, it was my grandmother's strength, wisdom, and empowerment with these types of things that helped me progress in life. And when you lose that paranormal rock, like I said, it really takes a lot out of you. So, uh, sorry, I don't mean to choke up a little bit, but thinking back on these experiences, knowing that they were her favorites, that she liked me to talk about them, this brings up emotions that I'm not used to. So, anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get choked up there, but my grandmother, like I said, was was ahead of her time. Both her and my grandfather were. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, they were AIDS buddies. AIDS buddies here in the Quad Cities would take care of AIDS patients that were dying. And that meant a lot to her, too. Yeah. So her paranormal stuff and her helping her AIDS patients were like two of her biggest things in life. And just opening back up to all this kind of opens up more emotions that I'm dealing with. But anyway, I think that's probably going to be it for tonight. I'm probably going to do another follow-up video after this. And I've gotten so many questions from people. So many people have reached out with support during all this, and I did not expect the support I've gotten from the paranormal community. And I've gotten so many questions that I can make a whole video out of just questions. So my next video is probably going to be another follow-up from this one, and maybe a little bit more about my beliefs. Again, guys, if there's something specifically you want me to talk about, please let me know if you want me to elaborate more on some of these experiences or my beliefs or how things work or the afterlife in general. Leave a comment. Leave a comment. I try to answer people or respond to people on YouTube, and the best that I can, but I'll try to make videos on it. I'm thinking about doing a go live to answer some people's questions. That's probably not for another couple of weeks, but that is definitely in the works. So anyway, guys, again, thank you for listening in. Thank you for the support. I'm up to 755 subscribers now, and a lot of you have come out of the paranormal community. So again, guys, if you have questions, leave a comment, and I'll either respond right away on YouTube or respond to them on another video. So, guys, keep hitting that subscribe button, keep hitting that bell button so you know when I go live. And the support, like I said, has been incredible. So thank you. Again, guys, hit that subscribe button for me. That's how you support small content makers like myself. Hope you all have a good rest of your week, and have a good night.